Break up. Please break up. Please. Let's go to sleep. Let's talk about it in the morning. Malcolm, let's get in an argument. I'm like, oh God. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantel. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Malcolm and Marie. Have many thoughts. Actually, I was contemplating even doing this video because I thought the movie is very like said and done, but also it's not. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like I had nothing to say, but once I thought about it more and more, I was like, no, I can't just let this slide. So Malcolm and Marie came out February 5th, and I think I started it February 6th, and it took me 3 days to get through it. For many reasons. I don't like being yelled at, and I felt like Malcolm was yelling at me. I also, the movie was a lot to get through. It was hard for me to get through that movie. It was just a lot of, the whole thing was an argument, which, I mean, okay, cool. It definitely could have been a play, because it's like all in one room, same night, argument. And it also could have been cut down to 30 minutes, because it was like the same argument over and over. It was like the same thing. Like, all she wanted was a thank you and to be appreciated, and he just it was flying over his head. I think the main point of it is, because I'm going to read through some tweets, but the main point of it is like, love isn't the same as appreciation. You can love somebody and tell them you love them and but if you don't put the action behind it and show that like you really appreciate what they're doing for you, like from the mac and cheese, from literally stealing her story, from everything, then you don't really love that person. You might be in love with that person, but you don't love them. You know what I mean? But anyway, it took me 3 days to finish the movie. So overall, the movie, I think if Zendaya wasn't in it, I first of all, I love Zendaya. I thought Zendaya and John, that's the name? John? Yeah. Zendaya and John did amazing acting. Like, top notch. They got an Oscar for their acting? Yeah, sure. The plot, right. I think it was, I think it took me 3 days because I thought it was boring. I did, like, if there was something else, like some other factors besides just the same argument of not being appreciated, then yeah, I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, this was a really good 10 out of 10 movie. Like I said before, I really love Zendaya, and I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why I sat through an hour and 36 minutes of it, because I love Zendaya. If it wasn't Zendaya, I probably would have never gone back to it. I probably would have watched the 30 minutes and been over it. But yeah, I think the movie, and when I first saw it, like when I finished it, I was like, okay, this was not good at all. But once it settled down, it is a talking piece. It is. And it shows like how annoying relationships are, like how irritating men with huge egos are. And like, I'll read through some tweets, but just the fact that the way he was speaking to her was she had some jabs too, but the way he would bring up like her suicide attempts or her struggle with addiction and like all these low blows, I'm like, please break up, please break up. And I think also like everybody wants, not everybody, but a lot of people crave for these toxic relationships, and it's like, oh gosh, it's so terrible. Like, that relationship is abuse. She even said it was abusive. Like, she was like, verbal abuse, and he's like, okay, whatever, Marie. Like, you're terrible. He's a terrible person. Malcolm's a terrible person. But let's get into these tweets. It says Malcolm and Marie would have been so much better in color. I absolutely agree. I think part of the reason I thought it was boring is because it was in black and white. But I'm sure some film major is going to come and tell me why, the importance of black and white, the importance of why they were in the one place that I understand why they stayed in the house, because the house is where you show your true emotions and you're not putting on a face. Like, I get that. Oh, come on, drama. But black and white, somebody's gonna have to explain that to me, because I was not feeling it. I just wasn't. I do know that there's like a great significance with the music, and I appreciate that. Black and white, I just wasn't feeling. Malcolm and Marie ever go to sleep? That's the biggest thing. It's like Marie was like, let's not talk about this. I want to let's go to sleep. Let's talk about it in the morning. Malcolm, let's get in an argument. I'm like, oh God. And it, like, even when they made up like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, sheesh, just go to sleep on a good note. You know what I mean? It was annoying because it's so real. I think that's why it was so annoying. But yeah, they should have just went to sleep. Like, respectfully, they should have just went to sleep. This Marie scene was really impressive. So when she was like acting like she would in the like in his movie, I was like, well, why didn't you cast her? Like, if you're gonna steal her story and she wants to be an actress, I would be upset too. Like, are you crazy? I was like, stay right here and think positive, happy thoughts. She was like, why didn't you cast me? I get that though. Like, sometimes I'll get in an argument with people and then I start to think and I'm like, nah, that wasn't right. Like, I'll forgive them at first and I'm like, wait a minute, I let it settle. And I think that's what happened when he didn't thank her for the movie, like in the speech. Like, he didn't acknowledge her, and then all these people kept coming up to her and was like, oh, are you okay, because he didn't acknowledge you, that kind of thing. And she got upset because more and more people were talking about it. I also saw a tweet, I didn't screenshot it, I forgot. I saw a tweet and it was like, Marie is an Aquarius and Malcolm's an Aries. I don't know that much about signs, but both my parents are Aries and then I'm an Aquarius. And I could see myself reacting in the ways that Marie did. Kind of like, you have to force me to give you the real answer, because it wasn't really until Marie was expressing herself, but it wasn't until the very last moment when she was like, let me point blank period, like, you don't appreciate me, you don't thank me, you just love me, you're not appreciative of me, and I'm not going to tell you just right out because I'm Aquarius. I think, am I getting this wrong? I'm not 100% on signs, but as an Aquarius, you kind of like protect yourself, like you kind of put on this face like nothing really bothers you, but really it's really upsetting you, and then you have to kind of be pushed to be like to express yourself, I guess. I don't know if that's right about the signs. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Malcolm was groaning like that, eating that little bowl of mac and cheese. No, that was disgusting. Yeah, that was gross, because he was like smacking and I was like, craft is not that good, like, come on, bro. And he didn't say thank you. Oh no, I definitely, you know what, scratch that. I definitely would have said something like, oh, so I would have been like, you're welcome, like in a very passive way. But I guess they're used to it because they're a couple. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not right, but it's okay. That's gaslighting at its finest. He's just like, he's ignoring the point of, okay, yes, you need me. Like, yeah, you can need me, but love me, pick me. I'm just kidding. No, you can need me, but like, once you have me, appreciate that necessity is there. Like, appreciate that I'm here. Like, I don't have to be here. I think that's what Malcolm really got messed up. Like, that's where Malcolm might have her, because he knows that she won't leave, she knows she won't leave, and he knows she won't leave. So he's just like, hey, I can do whatever I want. And I think that's so crazy. Like, he's just a terrible guy. Like, he's terrible in the way that most egotistical men are. Like, it has this savior complex where like he saved her from addiction and he helped her do all this, so the least she could do is do everything for him, be at his every whim, and like all this crazy stuff. And it's so irritating because like I know so many, well, not so many people personally. No, I know so many people who do everything for a person just because of one thing that they've done in the past, no matter how significant. And that's so irritating because yes, you did stuff for me, you did something for me, but that doesn't mean you should treat me any less than you would another person, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, and your significant other. It's just, this movie was irritating. Malcolm&Marie is an example of how broken people should try to help themselves and love themselves before loving anyone else. And stay away from people that throw the past in your face and keep tabs on how they have helped people who don't know how to talk to them. Right. Especially on that throwing stuff in people's faces. Like, okay, let's talk about him bringing up all his exes. That wasn't necessary. Like, it was not necessary. It was not called for. Like, the argument never called for you going that hard. That was disgusting. That was probably that was definitely the worst scene to me. Like, as far as him, like, that's just spiteful. It's a mean thing to say and do, and him bringing up her addiction problems and her suicide attempts, like, I cannot express that enough. How low can you go, Malcolm? And then the fact that they're buddy at the end of the film on the top of the hill, I know there should be some significance to that, but like, oh my goodness, please break up, please. The last tweet is Malcolm and Marie's neighbors the whole night. Yeah, that was funny. I saw a couple TikToks where it was the neighbors like trying to walk over there and tell them to be quiet, and it was like the neighbors they know that they argue all the time. Yeah, that was funny. I think it was funny when they were going outside into the yard and screaming. I'm like, it's 2:00 in the morning. I know. Well, they look pretty far out, like away from neighbors, but girl. But overall, Malcolm and Marie, now that I've had time to let it settle in my spirit, I would watch it again. I would just to get myself upset again. That's who I am as a person. It was a good movie. It was good, great acting. I just wish it wasn't in black and white. I wish it was shorter. It was a little static was it? Yeah, low-key, it was a little static at times. So I wish it was a little more hype. But I would say, like, if it got an Oscar, if it was nominated for an Oscar, I wouldn't complain. Let's get is it egg cut? Is it egg cut when you get all three? Right? I don't know. Let's get Zendaya to get an egg cut. Right? So she can get an Oscar because she has an Emmy already, and then a Grammy, and what's a T? Maybe I got that all wrong. Anyway, I'll give Malcolm and Marie a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because that's probably one of the best movies I've seen this year. But it's also February, so let's calm it down. If y'all have any differing opinions, if y'all have any suggestions of what I should watch next, let me know. And I will see y'all next week. Bye!